All right, guys, let's see if this works now. Can you hear me? That's first and foremost. Can you hear me? And I just lost the chat. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I can't see the chat now. Well, I can see the chat on YouTube, but I can't see it on OBS. I'm trying to fix that because I screwed it up. Test. All right, guys, I'm working on it. I somehow managed to close the chat window, and I don't know how to fix it. I didn't want to have a bunch of open windows, especially when the studio window has a delay, so it's really messing with me. Oh, it's been a good day, hadn't it, Ian? Ian's been with me the entire time. We've been having some serious issues here. Oh, there it goes. All righty then. Okay, we can see everything. Fantastic. I hope you guys are doing all right. I finally get a chance to sit down and share with you the new items for the museum, and I'm watching the video latency right now, and it's absolutely terrible. You guys have no idea. I had to crash the entire system and start over. It's been a mess. But what's even more annoying is when your mouth doesn't match up with the screen, so I can see myself talking and it's weird. Yeah, the video latency is absolutely terrible. And I don't know if it's going to let me fix it while I'm on here. Not going to stop me from trying, though. Match out frames per second. Yeah, it's not going to let me. Oh, well. Is it looking okay to you guys, though? I hate starting every show with having technical difficulties, but this is who we are. Yep, it's definitely been one of those days. Well, from here, my mouth is not necessarily matching up with the video. It's got to be a latency. My bit rate or something has got to be off. But I don't know what it was set to before, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Like I said, I finally got a chance to sit down and show you guys some of the new items. I'm excited to show you some of them and give you history behind them and everything. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do another one of these, so I apologize for taking my time to not getting it done. And yes, you'll have to deal with my nicotine intake and everything, of course. And I got my gear on, you know. I got my Operation Overlord shirt on, my World War II days Rockford, Illinois Midway Village hat on. I got to do it right. But I'm looking at everything. I'm trying to figure out what I want to go with first, because there's not a lot, but a lot of it has importance. I almost feel like we should start from basically from the beginning, which would be World War I, but I'm looking around to see which one I want to grab first here. Accidentally just let the cat out of the bag by moving some items. Yes, definitely a glitch in the Matrix. The fun part is I've got to do both ends of the conversation here. I got to do Matt's not here. There's nobody else here to run the administrative part of it. But I guess let's go ahead and start off. First thing is just a simple. It's just a simple bomb fuse. It was gifted to me by a buddy, and I think it's pretty awesome. They didn't know what they had, but like I said, it's just a simple fuse. Obviously, it's been battlefield dug, and it's definitely a little bit on the side of kaboomed. But what this is a World War I German KZ-14 fuse. This particular fuse has been used all over the front. It's been throughout World War I. It was one of the most popular ones to be fired out. I believe the origins of the KZ-14 were a good 20 years before World War I, but like I said, it was the most common fuse. This one, I believe, was an HE. I'm still kind of looking into that because of the shape of the underside of it. It could be an HE fuse. It could be a gas fuse, which it's inert, guys, so don't freak out. But like I said, it's just your basic run-of-the-mill KZ-14 fuse, but it's where it was found at. And it was found on the Somme. You know where I'm talking about. It's one hell of a battle that went on there. And that's where it came from. It came, I'm going to look at the map because I forgot exactly what the name of it, where it was at. Hold on one second. I know it was the northern. I'm looking at the map because I forgot to write that down. Because he told me the absolute specific area of where it came from, and being me, I screwed that up. Yeah, let's see. It was not Ypres. That much I do know, and it was not Verdun. It was kind of more towards the middle. Obviously where the Somme was, but I want to say it came from Cambrai. But I always, I try to have the information on the items, of course, because the story is just as important as the item itself. I keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying that because it's absolutely true. But yeah, so there we go. Sorry, I'm still agitated from what happened earlier with the computer system and everything, so I apologize. I gotta breathe deep. Otherwise, the computer over here and the rest of the equipment along with it is going to get smashed. Come on, D-Man. Aside from the nicotine intake on screen, I'm trying to kind of keep this a little bit professional this time. Well, he was visiting the area, and of course they're just like us, so they're historically crazy. So they went out there and they did some metal detecting and stuff like that. And he said there was no shortage, of course, what was left of bullet casings and stuff like that because they were just so degraded. And he found a couple of fuses, and he's like, "I want you to, he's like, I got a KZ-14. I know you've been talking about getting some more World War I fuses and artillery shells and stuff like that." He's like, "So there you go." I'm like, love it. So should we keep with the since we started with World War I, should we just go ahead and keep with the World War theme here. I think we should. Yeah, I think we're going to. So this one's a little bit bigger of an item though. But I've been wanting to get one of these. This is one thing I didn't have in my collection before. The tornado took the other collection. This is a whole new item I've been trying to get my hands on forever. And usually I wear gloves when I'm touching all these items, but today I ran out of gloves. And besides, I kind of want to wear this one. Yeah. And this dude had a tiny head. But I finally got my hands on a pickle helm. Of course, anybody knows the early days of the war, the Prussian army, German army as well. You know, it was Prussian army back then. I'm sorry. I'm already thinking World War II. I got to stop that. But they used these. They didn't really have any way of in the way of protection. I mean, it's leather. It's leather. But this one came from the 5th Guard Regiment, which is the 5th Battalion, and the nickname, of course, was the White Devils. But which still cracks me up. I'm sorry. For other reasons, that cracks me up for some reason. But they were established in 1897, and of course, like I said, they really didn't have much in the way of helmets yet. The real helmets didn't come later. They did have some metal pickle helms, but this is what started the war. And it's not in the greatest condition, but that's to be expected for being well over 100 years old. And, it was a battlefield bringback that was, I've been sitting on somebody's shelf for quite some time. I am not going to clean it. I'm going to wipe it off very nicely, but there's no way I'm going to clean this. I like the patina of it. But, I mean, just think about it. Think about nowadays, going into battle and basically just wearing your soft cover. I mean, that's what this leather does. It doesn't stop any shrapnel. It doesn't stop any debris or anything else like that. It was just supposed to look good. And the spire on top was a horrible idea because the snipers were taking them off. Because you would see this little thing going down the trench. Really bad idea. Let's see, I got some more information. I had to write some of this down because I'm trying to remember all of it. Like I said, I got agitated earlier. But like I said, the engagements that this particular unit was involved in was Poland, Russia, Lithuania, Belgium, and of course France. This one here, I was told, was a bringback, and it came from the French countryside. It was not. At first they told me it was the Belgian area, but it was not. I did some tracking and talked to some of the family members, and it actually came from a different area. Well, it's going to go on the shelf with the rest of the museum items. But like I said, it's not in the greatest of shape. I mean, the inside of it is just done. You can tell. But it's a really great example of a used wartime pickle helm, and I love it. Oh, crap. Try and stretch over and get more of these picked up. All right, now where do we want to go next? Well, we're going to be moving on to World War II, but we'll keep in the theme with it going a little bit further back, because the next couple items are from the time frame between about 1925 to, the end of World War II. You know what? We'll just go with another helmet. Oh, my nose. But anyhow, all right, let's get this one out. This one is, it's an Italian M33. They started playing around with, with more modern helmets in about 1925, I believe. This one here in particular was made in 1938. Yeah, 38. But the first time this was ever used in battle was what was it? 1935, the Italian-Ethiopian War. So it kind of had its trial by fire, and it was basically used ever since. Many of these were used obviously in World War II. This is what I was told. I like the story just as much as I do the item, but oh crap! I'm trying to think of where I was going to go with that. But well, what I was, like I said, what I was told is that this was brought back from Salerno. I can't confirm that. I mean, I know they were used all over the place, but of course, the Italian army did kind of capitulate to the Americans almost fairly quickly once we reached that point. But that's where I was told that this one came from. I'm still trying to confirm that. I couldn't guarantee it. But it is just a basic representation of the Italian M33, and it's actually not in too terrible condition. And yes, I made complete sure that this was not a reproduction liner, but a real liner and everything else. And it is in fact the proper liner for the helmet, proper time period, stamped correctly, and has some pretty decent wear. But that's as simple as it gets, guys. I mean, it barely has much of a lip to it. But finally got an Italian one. Now if I can just get you guys to find me a French one, maybe a Belgian, a couple other countries to add to this, I'd be appreciative of it. Don't really do much in the way of reproduction. There's only a couple things that are ever going to be in the museum as reproduction because, well, you can't have them legally, like machine guns, because this state is terrible. And even if you could, well, they wouldn't let you, because you'd have to have a stamp and basically one very well padded bank account to get your hands on a real one. I remember I said that one was made in about 38. What I got sitting here in front of me is obviously from another country, but it's from the Russians. I was very excited when I met up with a friend of mine who's a fellow historian, and he sells his items. He actually goes back to Russia. He's Russian born, but he's as American as they come. But he goes back there occasionally to visit family and to pick up items to bring back for his personal collection and to sell at events and everything else like that. And when I got up there, he did two things which cracked me up. One, he just looked at me and just smiled, and he's like, "I knew you were coming." It's like, you come here every year, so I knew you were going to be here. He goes, I got something special for you. Two things, actually. Before I show you the World War II item, I'm going to show you what else he handed me, because I thought it was hilarious. It's awesome, and Only him would do this to me. Vodka. Yes, he's like, I got something for you. And he's like, I brought back some miniature bottles of vodka from Russia. I brought you one, and handed it to me, and it's still got the tax label and everything from Russia, which is awesome. No, I have not cracked it open. I'm not sure if I will, but I might. But I just thought that was cool and hilarious that he handed me that. Now see how many YouTube strikes I can get. Using nicotine on the live, showing alcohol products. We're having a good time. Now, what else he brought back though? Like I said, I was kind of excited about, and he's like, I knew you would like this because you're the one that does really like a lot of the Battlefield finds. You like things with patina. You like things that have been used because it's more personal. And I'm like, okay. He's like, here, and he put it up on the counter, and it's just a simple coffee cup. It's a little worse for the wear. You can tell it's been around a little bit. But it's where this coffee cup came from and what battle it was tied to that really makes me just love this thing. It's from the Battle of Stalingrad. It was found just outside the outskirts of the original city. They had found another kind of like, an area to dig up. I don't know if it was a trench or part of a bunker, makeshift bunker or whatever else, but it was occupied by the Russians and the Germans multiple times. I seen the area on the map where he told me where it came from, and he confirmed it was there. And a friend of his had actually was there to get it, and he said he wanted it. And when he brought it back, he's like, if this guy shows up, he just basically said, if this guy shows up here, he's going to be the one that's going to want it the most. And I kind of bought it from him. But like I said, it's just a simple coffee cup and everything, but it's the origins of where it came from, because I'm not sure if many know. Everybody's got to know the Battle of Stalingrad and what kind of horrors that battle produced. I mean, it was just unreal, the amount of people that were killed. I believe it was an estimated 800,000 casualties on the Axis side, and the Soviets just 1.1 million casualties for the Russians. I'm trying to remember all this, but it was around 1.1 million. But they're still thinking that the number is actually being a little less. What I mean is, or a little different. That's being the conservative estimate, because they're thinking that there was around 2 million people that were killed just in Stalingrad. The civilians, I believe, the death toll was around 40,000 plus. Again, that's an estimate because they don't know. A lot of them were never found. They don't know if they got out, but they're estimating that at least 40,000 Russian civilians lost their lives there. Most presumably because Stalin said you can't leave. He made them stay. And then, of course, with his soldiers, the reason why so many of them were killed is because he also said not one step back. So basically, he was sending them into battle to be meat. It seems like some things just don't change. Because on the modern battlefield in a certain area next to Russia, that's still going on. It's exactly what they're doing. They're basically sending their guys to be killed. They're doing the human wave attacks to see if they can get anything broke through. Same thing that they did in World War II. And it was devastating. I mean, the life expectancy of a Soviet soldier in World War II in Stalingrad was 24 hours. Could you imagine being told that you have basically 24 hours to live? Once you get here, you're done. I couldn't imagine that. I just couldn't. It makes you wonder what was going through those poor guys' minds. It really does. But even after the battle, especially on the German side, there was, I believe, around. Give me a second. Around 100,000 or so that were captured after the battle, and only around 5,000 or 6,000 ever got a chance to return home. So but the battle ended in somewhere in I think early February of '43, and just marking the one of the most horrific battles of all time. The numbers are staggering. Everything about it is just unreal. And I'm trying to check the chat, and it's not doing anything again. Hope it didn't freeze up again. Unless YouTube kicked me off. But another item I picked up from him, again, it's a personal item. To me, it makes things a little bit more personal, and it came. It wasn't Stalingrad. It came from, I believe, outside of Kursk, and it's just a simple Russian bandage. But again, to me, it's an awesome item. I love the more personal things, and what's more personal than a bandage you would have carried in your kit. And this one was produced, I believe, it says on it, I can barely read some things, but 1941. But I was told it came from the Kursk region. It was produced in the Kursk region, and it was carried, and it was found, according to the story I was told, it was actually found in just a random storage area that they had from Soviet times. But I can't confirm that. I can only take him at his word on that. But I wouldn't be surprised, because they are still finding things. I mean, they're still finding crates of Mosin Nagants and stuff like that everywhere, and KR-98s and whatever else. But yeah, this is not working. I'm not seeing anything from chat anymore. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to say something. I would question, Angie, if that was a real Death's Head pin. There's a major market of reproductions and fakes out there right now. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to say something, because it's not showing that anything's working. Okay, there's Ian. Yeah, there it's so it is working. Well, I said everything got really boo-fooed, so I don't know half the time if it's working. Let's see. Okay, we already did the Russian items. Now we will get into some more. Actually, you know what? We'll go into. Yeah, we'll go into that first. This one I was excited to get. I've been trying to get one for quite some time. So, bear with me here. There's a couple items in here I need to dig out. You know what? Before we go to that, one of the other things that that disappeared that I had was a World War II U.S. Army gas mask. A friend of mine was nice enough to let me tag along with them into a barn owned by one of their family members, and because the idea is we're going to be clearing it out eventually, and it was cool to go around and see all the old stuff and everything. And sure enough, you know me, I'm going to find something. A container of fog-proof paste from World War II that goes with the World War II gas mask. Ian, you'd be surprised how much stuff I lost. It's some of the items I'm okay. You know, I'm not as mad about than others because some of them are irreplaceable and basically priceless to me, and they're gone. I'll never see them again. But now I need the gas mask. But it was cool to walk through there, you know, and find it. And they, of course, said, of course, you know, you can take it with you. And I'm like, that's awesome. So thank you guys for letting me grab that. But moving right along. Let's see. Which one do I want to go with next? Nah. Maybe. Sorry, I'm trying to decide on one. We got 5 items left. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I want to go with it. You know what? We'll go with this. This badge, of course, came directly off of a particular uniform. Can anybody tell me what that is? I'll tell you the origins of it and everything else like that, and then the common misconceptions about just about any symbol nowadays. But this one in particular came from a very specific uniform, and but I want to know what you guys know about it, what you think it is. What does this badge represent before I move on? Anybody? Yes, Ian, you're correct. It's the mountain division of the Wehrmacht. It is the Edelweiss. The Edelweiss is a flower that grows high up in the Alps. Common misconception, like any other of these. The Kaiser's army have been using these since 1907. Just like anything else, some crazy little man in World War II with a funky mustache and a bad attitude and a drug addiction decided to pervert these, and but not necessarily, because there was already a mountain troops. Mountain troops were, like I said, from 1907, but they fought in World War One, World War Two. It's supposed to be the mark of a true soldier, but Edelweiss is an important flower for the Bavarian region, which is where we are from. Yes, he was a very terrible painter. That guy. But I want to be perfectly clear, even on this live and stuff like that, I'm showing you this stuff for historical purposes. So get over what some crazy little man decided to do with it, because he perverted a lot of symbols. But this one in particular was a symbol of my people for several hundred years. I was told recently that if I have one or I'm wearing one, that I am a white supremacist because of Hitler. I'm like, no, he doesn't get to hijack what's been a symbol of my people for that long. That's the reason why it is tattooed on my left arm, and I'm very proud of it. But it's actually, the flower was even, it was, the name Edelweiss was coined in 1785, and sorry, I'm gonna have to look down at my notes and see the name of the person. Austrian naturalist Karl von Moll. He's the one that basically coined the term Edelweiss, but of course Edel means noble, Weiss means white, so it's noble white. It had another name, it had several other names. It's it was known as lion's foot, wallflower. It's a symbol that's still being used to this day, not only in Germany, but in France and several other countries, because this is a symbol of, symbol of love. I don't want to say this because I know the World War II thing is just going to get a hole dug into it, but purity. But that's not, like I said, he perverted a lot of symbols and made them what they aren't. But this particular one is not just from the German Mountain Division. This is possibly from somebody a little bit more nasty and a little bit higher up, due to its black background and particular configuration, but we'll leave that for a later date. But I still think it's an awesome piece. It came directly from a uniform, and I have no story on this one as to where it came from, the origins of it. So I just know it's authentic and it's real, and it's now in my collection as an example in my museum. But it was, let me think here. Still a little off my game here. I should have done this another day after being so agitated. Like I said, it's a symbol of devotion. It's a symbol of strength, adventure, sacrifice, courage. It's the national symbol, I believe, like I said, of other countries. I think the national symbol for damn it, what was it? Switzerland. And it was also, during World War II, of course, like I said, the little crazy man with the bad mustache also kind of perverted it. But remember, there was also a symbol of German resistance, because, believe it or not all Germans followed lockstep with the Nazi plan. And there was Alpine soldiers that, of course, had it. But they carry a lot of the soldiers carried it to remind themselves of home. But there was also the Edelweiss Pirates. The Edelweiss Pirates was actually a young group of men who were trying to basically circumvent and destroy what the Nazis were trying to pull off. A lot of them were killed, unfortunately, as partisans and traitors. But I said it was also a symbol of love. Let me see, I got written down: love, bravery, strength, and dedication. And it's still a decorative symbol to this day. But one of the arguments when the person said that I was, since I had one, because I got one on one of my hats, I got one tattooed on my arm, that I'm probably one of the baddies because I have it. They said because the flower is white. Because it was called the white, obviously the white flower, and I'm like, well, yeah, you know why it's called that? And they're like, why? Is that because it is white? That's the only color. It doesn't have a color variation. It grows high up in the Alps, in the cold, and the flower is white. So why wouldn't you call it a white flower if it's white? I mean, I don't get that. It don't make sense to me. And yes, eventually I plan on doing a video on each one of the items by itself as well. But right now I'm just kind of giving you a run through of what I got very hastily and horribly, apparently. Let's move right along then. Another helmet. This one would be the military and police German helmet. It was... soldiers bring back as well. I'm still waiting on the full story on from the family on where exactly this came from and everything, but it is a soldiers bring back, and I managed to get my hands on it. And it's a very good representation of that particular helmet. Remember, at the end of the war, they were using just about everything they can get their hands on, including World War I helmets, late war World War I helmets, which I have one on the shelf back there. But this one is, considered a police and fire helmet, or I believe it was even used at one time as a parade helmet. But it is the double decal. It has the Third Reich symbol on one side, well, on both sides actually, but you get what I'm saying. It has the eagle and the crest on the other side with the swastika, and then of course, yeah, that thing. But it's still got its original liner. The straps and everything are in really good condition. The helmet itself is in excellent shape, and I can't wait for the story, because, like I said, earlier, to me the story is just as important as the item itself. Sometimes even more important, especially when it's a soldier's bring back. But again, these items are in a museum. They're here for historical purposes. They're not here to glorify anything that happened back then. The fact that people say that is beyond nuts. But I still got to continue to say that because most people don't listen. But here, I'll let you get a better look at it. But definitely still in just fantastic shape. One of the better examples that I've ever had my hands on. I'm definitely proud to own it and be able to show it to everybody and teach people about it. This one I do not recall. I forgot to mark down on my notes of what particular year this one was made. But I'm telling you, people back then had tiny, tiny heads. Mostly because, I'll show you why. Just like the, yeah, get out of there. Yeah, it's a bit small. In fact, the liner barely fits. It should be down a little bit lower on my head, so it looks kind of goofy. Tiny heads. What is it with tiny heads? Yeah, I can't wait for the story either, D-Man. I'm really waiting on it. I'm very patient, but I'm waiting to hear from them. I'm waiting to hear the story of how it came to the U.S., you know, and where their loved one was when he got it. I'm definitely excited to hear that. And of course, anytime that stuff's sent, anything that has a story behind it, I am going to print it out. It's going to be in the museum so people can actually read and see where these items came from, who brought them back, and to honor the soldiers that fought. You know, yes and no. I mean, I know of my own family, my own great grandfather who was killed in September of '44 in France was here. That helmet probably wouldn't even fit on his hand. He was a huge dude. And I was totally going to use a line from the movie The Dictator, but I'm trying to keep this live a little bit cleaner so other people can see it. There was definitely a joke in there somewhere, but I'm just not going to do it. All right, we got a couple more items left. Before I get to the last two authentics, I'll show you guys what else I did. This is half authentic, half not, because obviously it didn't come with rounds. But the belt links did in fact come from World War II. What did not is what I put in them. I even painstakingly went through, and the 308 rounds that are in here, you know, every fifth round is a tracer. Well, back in World War II, there was black tip and red tip. Now it's green tip and orange tip. But I wanted to hang something like this up there. For an example, so I made me a 50 round belt out of the links that were given to me. Nothing special. One second. Anybody want to guess necessarily what particular machine gun in World War II used 308 rounds in this particular belt style? I mean, it was a very popular machine gun of ours, but I'll wait. I know some of you are probably looking it up, but that's fine. I like having the back and forth. Yes, that would be from the Browning. That would be from the M1919. Of course, later on in Vietnam, it was used. That particular belt configuration was also used in the M60, but it was the M1919. The M1917 as well, I guess, if you want to get technical, in World War One, but that was a water cooled. The M1919 was a it wasn't the water cooled variant. Yeah, the M60 also used that same belt. Big, heavy son of a gun. I've actually gotten a chance at the Kentucky gun shoot to fire one and to hold it, and I'd hate to carry that damn thing. Okay, I said I was trying to keep it clean and dropped one. Okay, we're good. We're good! With any luck, D-Man, I'll have a representation of an M60 and a 1919 and some other ones that obviously I can't own for real. The only reproductions aside from the steel hand grenade that I have sitting on my desk, the potato masher, which actually I can get those because they're decommissioned or inert, but the firearms are kind of harder to. I am going to put my Mosin 9130, my Mosin Nagant revolver in the museum as well. If I want to fire them, I can always take them down. Now the next item, I'm going to save what I consider to be close to the best for last. So we'll start with this one. Now remember, during the war, we had to make a lot of sacrifices. People couldn't get tires. People couldn't get parts for their vehicles. Everything was made for the war effort. So any metal and everything was just not used for anything else other than war materials. But for the state to still get their revenue for the roadways, and to make sure that they could tell who you are license plate wise, you still had to have a license plate. But this is not made of metal, and there's a funny story behind these, but what do you think this is made out of? And this is one of the better representations of those that I've ever seen as well. But what do you think these are made out of? Oh boy, I think I'm going to sneeze dust off that thing. I haven't cleaned it off yet. It is not ceramic. It is made of a totally different material. It is not ceramic. So what do you think it's made out of? It's not asbestos either, but everything was made of asbestos back then. Have you seen the inside of the ships? I mean, they were using asbestos right up in until after World War One. Nope, it's not made of any type of metal. Not fiberglass. We really didn't use that much. You want me to just tell you guys, and then we'll talk about it, and I'll tell you about one of the funny stories about these. Some were made of leather, but this is not leather. In fact, very few were actually made of leather. All right, you want me to tell you guys? I don't know how long the delay is on this. Sorry. But we got one more item after this, and I'm really excited for the next item. Oh, well, you guys didn't. I asked if you want me to tell you, and you never said anything. I asked you, do you want me to tell you, and then I never heard anything. Soybean fiber. This is made out of soybeans. Soybean fiber. Basically pressed like a almost like a cardboard or laminate. But the funny thing that happened with these, remember, we live in rural area. So there's a lot of farmers and everything that, of course, had to have these and stuff. These were a horrible failure on the farms. Because the goats were eating the license plate. Of course, goats will eat just about anything, but they found out these are kind of tasty, so they ate the license plates. In fact, a lot of the animals did, but mostly the goats. So let's just say these didn't stick around very long. Not in the rural communities, not in the farming communities, stuff like that, and they weren't necessarily super. They were pretty okay with rain and stuff like that, but they did kind of fall apart as well if they got too wet. But yeah, soybeans, male soybean fiber. As if everything else isn't made out of soy nowadays. They had to make license plates back then, all that crap. I guess showing the versatility of a soybean. All right, moving along to the last item. The one that I'm really super excited about, and it's probably gonna get framed. Not just folded and put away. But I mean, we've been doing something similar to what this item is since World War I, but during World War II, this became a very big thing, especially after the Doolittle raid, and that is, I'm gonna unfold it. This. Yes, it's a little stained and everything. Of course it is from being as old as it is. But this is an escape and evasion map that was sewn in the back of bombers' jackets. This one in particular came from the Pacific Theater and is, I believe, China and Japan. It's the South China Sea. But I believe it's, yep. Has parts of China, Korea, and Japan and stuff on it. It even has their flight routes, the flight charts. But this map was taken out of the bomber jacket, and the bomber jacket was, of course, well, it wasn't in that great a condition. I guess it wasn't able to be saved. But a guy that I know, fellow historian, and he's got his own small museum. He had several of these, and I begged him to let me buy one off of him, and he finally got me one. And like I said, this one is, you can look it up yourself if you want to. It's number C-52, Japan and South China Seas. And this was, I believe, early map. I gotta remember where to find the, because there is a marking on it that tells me. This one is from 1943. But it is very awesome. I mean, I am super happy to finally have one of these in my hands. I mean, I've had one of the bomber jackets in my hands, and the guy wanted an extreme amount of money for it, and I don't blame him, because the bomber jacket was in excellent condition, and it was from the unit that it was from and everything, and it had a story behind it. Again, the story is just as important as the item. I'm going to keep saying that. But I was super thrilled to finally get my hands on one. It is definitely going to get hung up in a frame. It's not just going to get folded up and put back in a drawer. You know, these silk maps, they decided to go with these and sew them into the jackets for several reasons. One, they wouldn't be lost. Two, the paper ones, of course, you know, if you had to crash land or anything else like that, you landed in water, what happens to paper? No-go, right? This one they could pull out of their jacket. They could still use their jacket, and they could find their way out. But it's awesome to me for many reasons. But the fact that it has the, you know, shows, you know, even the like the wind that goes around the island and everything else like that. And it has flight paths and everything. It's just amazing. This is one of the coolest pieces I think I've gotten my hands on, and the price was right. He didn't gouge me on it. He knew I wanted one that was official, and it has the stamping to be official on it. It even has the spot for your compass and all that stuff to get your bearing. It's just a really good representation. I'm definitely proud to own it. One of these years, I hopefully can get my hands on an authentic bomber jacket that still has the flag in it. But I got a feeling I'm probably gonna have to sell a vehicle to get my hands on one, because they are very, very hard to come by. And the ones I mean they're hard to come by are the ones that actually saw combat, that these jackets were worn, you know, by the flight crew and everything. You know, for the bombers and the fighters and stuff like that. I said I'm not holding my breath, and I'm ever going to get my hands on an authentic one that has a story, that has a you know, the unit behind it and everything. But for now, this one here is in my possession, and I absolutely love it. And I'm glad he didn't gouge me on it. In fact, while we're talking about that, I am going to bring that particular map up. Let's see. I was trying to find the information I found on this particular one, but apparently I forgot to put it in my notes, so I'm kind of looking it up. Let's see. Yeah, in case you went down or needed to make a landing, showing that the islands, these portions, let's see, the portions of Japan, coastal China, which is like I said, man, this guy doesn't have much information on it though. That's not what I had in my notes. Well, maybe for a later day, because I said I'm going to do the videos separate. But aside from some newspapers and stuff like that I got, that is pretty much all I got that it's new. That's going into the museum. What do you guys think? I got to kind of make another shelf and get some things built up to house this stuff and get it. I got a lot to do with the museum. I really do. There's a lot of labels that need to be made. A lot of the drawers need to be finished and fixed, and the items in order. I'm a stickler, so Revolutionary War to new modern age and stuff like that that's gonna get done. But I am, like I said, at one point I am going to do a video for each one of the items, and the plan is right now I am trying to, aside from save up for more equipment for the radio show itself. I need to come up with some of the some equipment that I had unfortunately lost and is no longer here, like the digital camera and stuff. And one of the other things that I've added to the list is a large format scanner, because what I want to do is a lot of the paper goods and stuff like that is obviously very soft and brittle, especially like the World War I magazine and the newspapers and stuff. What I want to do is I want to be able to scan these and put them into an archive, and you can go to my museum online and actually read these articles and see these photos and all the paper goods and stuff like that. I will end up doing that. I just got to raise the money for it. Me too, D-Man. I absolutely love the history behind them, and definitely the memories and just the stories that come along with the items. As soon as they get me all the information on that helmet, I will let you guys know, and I'll do a separate video, of course, on it. But that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. I just figured I would show some of the new items and everything else like that and talk about them a little bit. It probably would have went a lot better a couple hours ago before I had them, in partial aneurysm trying to get the system to run, back up and running, and it's still not running 100% perfect. I just managed to get it to work for now. But I apologize, guys, for the extreme amount of difficulties that I had today with the system, and just not being on my game. I'm going to apologize for that, because it's normally not how things go. But that is all I've got for you guys. I am probably going to actually, where's the bag for that? The map goes back in the bag. But I got a list of items that I'm looking for. Some of you guys may be able to, help me out, being my friends from overseas. Maybe we can work out some sort of deal where I can get my hands on some authentic items and get them sent here. That would be fantastic. I want to continue on doing this, but hopefully we get the equipment that we need and everything else like that to do this, the online thing, and we'll see how it goes. But that is it. I think I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and get back to work. I just wanted to finally get a chance to share with you guys all this stuff. And I'm glad you guys has liked it as much as I do. I hope everybody else does. But I am going to get out of here, guys. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it's not a complete train wreck. I'll work on, doing an entire series with the stuff soon. And all right, guys, I'm out here. I'll see you later.